Hey everybody, it's me, Miss Gabby. It's so awesome to be back. I hope everyone had a super lovely break, and welcome to Cap at Home and Gold Detroit. And today I'm super excited. You know me, I love my paper crafts, my cardboard crafts. And today we're going to be making a really sweet project. I know currently during this making of the video there is barely any snow on the ground, but it is winter, so we are today going to make a quilled paper snowflake. Check that out. So this is like something that's super simple and super fun to make. It does take some time. I mean, you know, obviously we want to be very like conscious and thoughtful of what we're doing and how we're creating and designing. So let us get started for what we need. So to make this, obviously you guys can make it any size that you want, but I liked mine like the size I can fit in my palm. So this is basically going to be like maybe 5 by 5. So we're going to just start off with some few sheets of paper. So I have some nice like thicker paper, but if you just have printer paper, that's totally okay and definitely works. So I have some white and some blue, and I do have some different lighter blue color too, like you see in my previous example. So if you just have white, that's fine. And you can also see I have like a cream color. So whatever you have available totally is going to work, because snowflakes are all unique and all of our art is unique and nothing will be the same. And that's what makes, you know, snowflakes so amazing. And that's what makes you amazing as an artist. So we have our paper. I'm going to put this off right to the side. I have some scissors. I have a pencil, a ruler, and I have 2 size like paintbrushes. We're not going to be painting today, but for paper quilling, it's really unique, and I'm going to show you obviously how we're going to do it, but I have 2 different sizes because this is going to help us, and it helps me a lot with just like our different size coils. So you can kind of see how in my example, the different size kind of loops that I created and how, and like I'm going to show you how to do this today, but these are very like simple techniques, and you know, this is basically the start of paper quilling. So we're also going to need some white glue. So just regular Elmer's glue works. This is like a different kind of glue. It's you know, like craft tacky glue or something like that. Also, if you do have one like a hot glue gun, that works too. And just for the sake of this video and speeding things up, this is what I'm going to be using. For my example one, I did use the white glue, and it's great because it definitely works and helps keep things together. But we're just going to get started. So, you know, first you want to definitely like think about how you really want to lay out your, you know, your snowflake, and how many maybe kind of, I would like to call them petals that we're going to create here. You see, like I made like 5 major petals. So honestly, if you want to, you can just like wing it, but this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to start off with my white paper. And I just want to create like a good amount of strips. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out, you know, like 1-inch strips across my white paper. So here I'm just taking my ruler and kind of going in a little 1 inch here. So you can see that I'm just doing that, and that's what I kind of want to do. And if you want to draw a line very faintly, I'm using my pencil. And I'm going to just draw a faint line here. You can see. I don't want it to be too much, because I want to erase it so it's not like being shown or anything. So if you want to go ahead and measure out all of them. So what I'm going to do, and what I wrote in the like in my instructions, is you can cut 1 inch to like any between a 1 inch to like a 1/4 inch. You know, this is just helps, like you can see, give kind of like some depth into like our paper quilling snowflake, and you can see, so that's like basically what a 1-inch strip looks like here. So you can see that gives you an idea of what it's looking like. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just trim this, cut that. I'm gonna cut it as straight as I possibly can. And it's sorry if it's not perfect, but you can go back and trim it up a little bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that to the rest of my papers, and my white and my blue. And if you wanna think about like what kind of sizes you wanna do, you can go ahead and do that too. You also want to measure out like a base piece. So here I already measured out like a 5x5 base piece because that's what we're gonna be gluing on top of. So I'm gonna leave that right here for us, and I'm gonna just move it right up here so you can see along with my sample. So now we can go ahead and start creating our petals. So our shapes here basically for the start of our snowflake. So lucky for me, I already have quite a bit of, you know, papers and things like that trimmed up for me, just for the sake of the time for the video and this lovely tutorial. And obviously, you know, you can stop, pause, do anything that you need to do to help you move on our forward. So let's start with the paper quilling. So you want to take one of your strips, and you know, you want to think about like what size, and like, you know, you can do a few test runs of these, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one edge and I'm going to just start kind of twisting my paper around my thin little pencil, my thin little paintbrush. And that's what I'm doing. I'm doing it very, very tight. And that's like what you want to work with. Sorry, let me make it so you can see. I'm trying to do it as tight as I possibly can. You can kind of see I messed up a little, but that's all right. And I'm just tightening it, making a tight little coil. Basically, what I'm trying to do is make it nice, tight coil here. And so here you can kind of see how that opened up a little bit. So maybe, you know, this is all takes practice, and if you don't want it that tight, you know, you don't have to do it as tight. So, you know, I like made a couple different ones with different size and thicknesses, and you can kind of see how they spread out and things like that. So you can see and practice on your own, like the tightening of when you're wrapping your paper around your handle, and like how that's gonna come out. You know what I mean? And like you can see. And definitely try different types of paper. Like I have some really awesome like loose papers and like some like cardstock, some thick papers. So if you have, you know, things to try out, definitely. So I made a looser coil here for one of my, you know, petals. So what I want to do here is after I coiled it is I want to make sure that I'm going to make it like, you know, this, like you can kind of see here, like an actual petal. So what I'm going to do is take my coil and just pinch the corners. So you can kind of see how that's, you know, and then here we are. Like you can kind of space it out a little. So that's going to be part of my start here. So, you know, you can kind of start laying it out maybe, oh, like, you know, if you want something a little bigger or something a little different, you know, that's something that you can definitely work on and work towards. So, you know, these are going to be a little bit different just because you can kind of see that. But you see here, you can just add a little bit of glue here. And like I said, I'm using my, my little glue gun, and I'm going to just push a little dot here. And if you're going to be using a glue gun, definitely have an adult with you. It's very hot. You could definitely burn yourself. So I'm going to just close that up, and I'm going to start laying it out. So I already have a few of these prepped up, you know, just for me and the sake of the timing of this video. But you can kind of see how this is all going to be laid out. So, you know, if you want to make bigger petals, you know, definitely have like a longer piece of, I'm going to sneeze 1 second. Ooh, maybe not. Okay. No sneeze, but you can kind of see how I already created some for, you know, the sake of the timing of this. You know, I don't want to keep you here forever, but you can see how all of this is laid out and how it can lay out. So I want to think about maybe how I would like to put it together, or maybe like I could create like a 6th petal to really kind of go along with my snowflake. But I'm going to just go here. You can kind of see like I'm just taking a little bit of glue, my hot glue, and if you have white glue, it's going to work just the same. It just will just take a little longer to dry. So you can kind of see, and what you can do basically with paper, and it's so flexible and lovely that you can just kind of really help shape your petals by just pushing back down the corners a little bit and kind of giving that like nice roundness, you know, to all that. And if you work with hot glue ever, you can kind of see and tell that sometimes we get these little, I like to call them little spider webs, that they'll just kind of, you know, you can just rub them off a little bit. So what I'm doing here is just doing that. So I can kind of let me bring it down just a wee bit for you to see. Boop. There we go. Hopefully you can see just a little better. So that's what I'm doing here. So next, you know, I kind of maybe want to think about putting them down, starting to put them down. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue on the edge here. And what I'm doing is pushing it down. And this works with white glue, like I said. You know, it's all very versatile, but this is just going to help, you know, kind of create a quicker project for us. So I'm just taking just a dot of glue on the edge here on the corner and pushing it down. And that's why I like working on a base, you know, like a piece of paper that's going to kind of like house our snowflake, is because it's going to really just help kind of keep things organized and things like that. So this one I didn't glue down. This one just looks a little different than the others, and that's okay. Like I said, you know, all snowflake, no snowflakes, none of them are one and the same. They're all different. And that's what's amazing about all of our art and our projects. You know, it's all different, and that's what makes it unique. So the next thing you want to do is I want to kind of create, like I had here, this nice little outline of blue for my petals. You can kind of see how I did that. So, you know, you can take a large sheet, but like a large strip, but I have this here. And I kind of just wrapped it around here to see like how much of this will I actually need. But I could use this whole strip. So, you know, I cut a few of these strips here like this, and they're about like 4 inches. So I created this like 4-inch strip basically, and that's what I am going to just wrap around each and every single one. So you can kind of see, I'm going to just create this and close it. Just take a little glue and close this, and then just voila. Just wrap it and house it like that. So it creates a nice little casing for all of our strips and all of our petals, you know. And like I said, if you have different colors and things like that, you can definitely, you know, try different ones out and, you know, really kind of play around and see like what that's going to look like for you. So you can kind of see here what I'm doing, and I'm just wrapping each petal with these blue strips. So this one, like I said, again, a 4-inch one, and I'm just going to go ahead and glue it up just like this, and then I'm going to just wrap it around one of our petals. So that's what's awesome, is you can really kind of make yours unique, just like a real snowflake. So you can kind of see how it's already kind of come into life a little bit, but you see that these are all like 1-inch sizes, and that's like what it's all going to be like level pretty much, and keeping it level. So you see I'm just kind of slowly, that's why I say, you know, paper quilling takes a little bit of time for you, especially just because like if you have, you know, white glue, that just takes a little bit of extra time to dry. So you can kind of see, you know, you want to be gentle, not to push it too much or anything, but kind of make sure it's all going into one another. Boop-a-doo. See, this one doesn't want to go. This one might be a different size. It is, and that's okay. Try it over here maybe. Or I can just grab an entire different one and wrap it. So this is what I was doing at first, for just kind of see like how it's being together, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to just put a little dot and close it that way and hold it for a second. So if you're using a hot glue gun, definitely be careful. It could get hot through the paper, but you see I'm just doing that. And if you like, you know, maybe what this is turning out, just kind of with the extra length of the blue there, definitely keep it. I'm kind of actually digging on it. I wish I did that for all of them. So you see I'm doing the same thing here. So this is nice because here we're just using just simple wrapping techniques and things. So You know, maybe if I want to just push it down a little, kind of open it up, you know, but you know, since all of them need to be a little bit the same, I'm just going to trim them. So just taking my scissors and trimming them a little. And I'm going to put the scraps off right to the side. So voila. So next, like I have some different size strips. So this is like a 1/4 inch strip. So I'm going to take my like thicker paintbrush here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start wrapping. So that's, you know, what you want to do is definitely just start tightly wrapping it to your paintbrush handle and kind of really keeping it tight because we want that like cool looking coil. So, you know, there, and I'm just going to pull it right off, and you can kind of see right here, and I'm going to just let it go a little. And you can kind of see how tight I did it. Maybe, maybe that's a little too big. Maybe we don't like that. You know, that's something that, you know, you can definitely play around with. So I actually like that. So I'm going to keep that around. You know, I'm going to just glue the edge there and then put a little glue on the bottom and put it right in between my petals. So I'm going to just hold it down there so you can kind of see. So like all of these, you can know, you know, you play with different sizes. So, you know, you can kind of just really see what you like and play with like the different coils. So like that one was, instead of a 1/4 inch, this was like 2 inches. So you see how much taller that is and closer to the top than that one is. So next, like, you know, if you have different shades of blue or anything like that, I'm going to do that, like, again. So this time I'm going to use my thinner brush, and I'm just going to wrap this really, really tight and see what kind of, you know, product I get from this tightening of this coil. You know, so like in my sample one, you can kind of see I was playing around with different shapes, like smaller petals, and, you know, here we are. So look, this one is quite a bit smaller. So this one was the 1/4 inch, and I used my small brush to tighten around the coil, so you can kind of see the difference, obviously, you know, the difference. So if maybe you want to try that, put that one inside there, you know, or keep this one somewhere else, or start just like adding more like that. There you go. So, and I have, like, for the inside of my petals, I made these lovely blue 2-inch coils that, you know, you can put a piece of, or like a little dot of glue and shove them right inside there. So you can kind of see how it's really starting to come to life. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to show you how to do that. So I used my long and 1-inch strip of this dark blue, and I'm going to just tighten and tighten it around my thin. So I'm just really tightening, really going. I don't know if I'll need this whole strip, but, you know, that's what we're trying to make sure you see. I'm not too close. It's a very long strip of paper. So you can kind of see, and once I pulled it off, I'm going to let it go just a little. So that made it really, really big. So I'm going to just tighten it right back up. And I'm going to put it right inside. So you can kind of see the difference that made compared to these small ones, which I really like how that kind of made this like a bigger effect. So you're starting to see how it's coming to life here. So now next I have like some of these coils I already pre-made, you know, and this is where you can really start getting really fancy and decorative with all of your papers. Like even here, like, you know, I kind of maybe want to add this out here, you know, and start adding it some more here. Kind of adding the same one, you know, these different paper quills. I'm going to just tighten this, put this, and add the little glue dot. So yeah, you know, you have like, I have a smaller petal here that I made. So it's all about just, you know, really making your coils really tight and really kind of adding extra flares to everything. It's a lot of fun, especially when you have like loads of colors and you've practiced like quite a bit, like and added a little bit of different techniques to everything, you know, like really just playing around with it. And it's all about just learning how to tighten and to make the coils, and definitely like playing around with different shapes. There's so many shapes that you can create, like a teardrop or leaves or things like that. You know, but those are definitely for like a different day. So if you want to, you can even kind of create really fun designs by adding like that on the inside there, like kind of creating those separate colors there. But you can see how lovely it's all coming together. So I'm going to take another one of these. So this one is like a 1-inch blue, and this one I cut in half, so it won't be as thick and long. But here we are. I'm just tightening my coil. But if you want to go ahead and like play around with like maybe different shapes you can make by, you know, how tight you want to wrap, maybe even tighter or really loosen, like that's up to you. So you see, I can do that. Maybe if I want to create like a different shape, like a teardrop, like I was saying, you know, here I'm going to just pinch the corner, definitely like how we made the petals, and just kind of add that here. So you see that. So I'm going to pinch and put a dot of glue here. So you can kind of see, so yeah, you can see this lovely teardrop shape that it's created. So like I said, if you're using hot glue, I just touched mine. Hopefully an adult will be helping you if you're using some hot glue, but you can see. So this one is definitely becoming a lot more unique than this one. But you know, I mean, all of our art will never be the same, just like a snowflake. I love snowflakes, and I love being able to look at them and the different kinds that there are, because none are the same. And that's something super, they're just like mind-blowing to know that. So yeah, I have some like pre-wrapped coils here. So you see this one was like a 1-inch one that I wrapped around my thin brush to play with. But if you can see, if like you don't like maybe these like empty spaces, you know, you can fill them, and that's, you know, too much maybe negative space. But you know, that's up to you and like how you want to create your snowflake. If you want it definitely to be like really, really different, that's like up to you. And sometimes like these can just fit right inside, like if you're using the 1/4-inch ones or like, you know, your 1-inch ones. That's why I said that you can create like quite a variety, you know, so you can kind of create a nice little depth to and different to your snowflake. So you see, I'm kind of just going to add. So you can create things all the same. You can create them differently. Definitely up to you and how you're trying to go with what you're doing. So I'm gonna maybe add some here, maybe put it here, you know, next to my teardrop. So here it's just a bit different. And these are loose, but it all really helps too with especially the kind of paper you're using. If you're using like a thick cardstock, or if you're using just regular printer paper, you know, definitely that all kind of helps in the varieties of paper that you're doing. So there you have it. So I could definitely finish this some more, really fill it up, maybe trim it down or create like a border like I did for this one, which I just used the same paper and measured it out. But you can kind of see the different life that this has taken on than my first one. So, you know, you definitely want to clean up and make sure, like I have some hot glue everywhere. Definitely pick that up, and my scraps, like, you know, all these ones I can't ever use for another project, just pitch away and, you know, put everything away just where you found it before you were starting your art project. So yeah, thanks for hanging out with me this afternoon. And a special thank you to the CEC in Gold Detroit and General Motors. You know, we're very happy to have like our new sponsors, and, you know, we wouldn't be able to do it without them. So thanks for hanging out with me. Catch you later.